Thank you, folks.
I move that ANC 6E request that DEMPED release a RFP, a RFEI or RFQ for the parcel 20, which is located at 7th and P Streets Northwest.
Seconded.
What is RFQ?
Request for qualifications.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion passes. I'll read it, did you? Aye, okay, great. Okay, so, next on the agenda is in my area. This is with James St. Ross. James, you want to come on up? This is for a public space permit, for 206 N Street for use of the alley for construction staging. And go ahead, James, tell us about your project.
Okay, let me hand out some flyers.
Okay.
Two sets here. All right. While it's being handed out, so I'm undergoing construction on my property at 206 N Street. I'll be doing an excavation in the backyard for a parking pad and putting in retaining walls. The backyard is actually about 6 feet above the alleyway, so that's why we need the excavation. And during that phase, of course, I'll have an excavator, a mini excavator in the backyard, in the alley, and a dump truck to haul away the dirt. And I'm asking for a public space permit for the dump truck and the excavator.
Okay, so what James is going to do, there's an alley behind N Street that impacts both N and Morgan. And so he has done outreach at my request, which all of my constituents know is a big deal, that they must know ahead of time. And as you said to me yesterday and today, there was positive feedback.
Right. So one of the documents they have is I went around with a little flyer to all my neighbors, and I put that on their door. And I talked to several of my neighbors. They were very happy that I was reaching out to them and telling them ahead of time. So I did that on the 1st or Monday. And I didn't get any negative feedback. My email and phone number are on there, and I haven't gotten any negative feedback at all.
Okay, and in addition, you want to touch on the garbage collection.
Right, so the garbage collection in that neighborhood is on Wednesday. It happens from the alley. So I've talked to the contractor already. I called the city about that and tried to estimate like when during the day they'd come back there. They couldn't give me a definite answer. But I want to assure you that the construction won't interfere with that, whether it's a question of them not being there on Wednesday so that the garbage trucks can go through. I'm requesting a permit for 2 weeks, starting on October 15th. In reality, the contractor is going to take about 3 days to do the excavation. The excavator will be blocking the alley probably for a day total until it moves actually onto my property. And then the dump truck obviously will be moving in and out all the time. So yeah, I'd like my trash picked up too. So
what were the hours?
they're going to be there, I think he said 8:30 to 4 p.m. are his hours of work.
Did you tell, you didn't put that on this,
I did not know.
okay, so we might have to go back around and let them know.
Okay.
Because I assume that, they, they're, so this particular block is right across from Dunbar High School. And so
Right.
they are
There's a lot of
very
construction
sensitive about anything happening. And I actually, of most of many of my blocks, I know most of the people who live in this area now due to Dunbar High School.
Right.
So we have all learned you must tell everyone everything.
Mhm.
Correct, right?
Exactly,
There we go.
exactly. There's a lot of parking issues, and then the high school's been under construction for, a year and a half now.
It's,
So
I have a daily conversation with people from this area
Yeah.
about something, so.
And this project in particular, I'm lucky in the sense that on the pictures, if you look at the pictures, the first picture is actually from the alley looking directly at my property. And so that is where the work would be done. And then the second picture is directly across the alley. And as you can see, there's no, it's not going to block anybody's driveway or anything. I'm lucky in the sense that that's pretty much an unused area for my neighbor. And then the third picture is the alley entrance that would be blocked by the construction. There are 3 entrances into the alley itself. I'd only be blocking one of them. So all the cars would still be able to get in and out of the alley without any issue. They just go one of the other 2 routes.
And everybody in the neighborhood has been notified.
Yes.
And they have my email
And use it regularly,
I
right?
use it regularly. Any other questions from the commissioners? Any questions from the audience? Okay, all right.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for putting out the word to the neighbors. I motion that ANC 60 support the public space permit for 206 N Street for use of the alley for construction staging for 2 weeks, starting on October 15th, from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, can I have a second?
I'll
And we
second.
directed the correspondence.
To DDOT. Okay, to DDOT.
I'll second.
Marge will second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, all ayes, motion passes. Thanks, James, for coming.
Thank you. Sorry, which day was it? October what?
October 15th. And we're in Alex's area here, support for removal of a no turn on red sign.
The Front Street Neighbors Association has been receiving complaints for some time from its constituents about the no turn on red sign that prevents eastbound traffic on the 1000 block of S Street Northwest from turning right during red lights. This is a sign that's probably been there 20, 30 years. The dynamics in the neighborhood have changed. That intersection is at the north end of a 2-block segment that dead ends into the Shaw Recreation Center, Shaw Junior High School property. It doesn't have very much traffic that's going down 10th Street from Vermont Avenue. And as a result, especially at night, there are often very long periods that cars are being held unnecessarily to prevent them from turning right onto French Street, which is the next block down. So the neighbors have voted, the Neighbors Association has voted to request that the commission support a request to DDOT to remove that no turn on red sign there. So I know there's a representative from the Neighborhood Association here. Did you want to add anything?
I have a picture of the sign if you want to see it. It's pretty-
Sure, that could help the commission understand.
Yeah, the effectiveness of the sign is not really good, especially at night. I took a picture right before it's probably been there for 30, 40 years, I guess. So, I mean, it doesn't work at night. You can't even see it at night because the reflective surface doesn't work at all anymore. So, at nighttime, people just, they don't see it and they just.
Turn anyway.
They turn anyway, so.
So I would move that Advisory Neighborhood Commission 6E issue correspondence to DDOT requesting the removal of the no turn on red sign at the southeast corner of 10th and S Streets Northwest. Ask for a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Great, motion passes. Okay, any new business from the commission? No? Alex, Frank?
Yes, I have some.
Okay.
During our last public safety meeting that took place on last Tuesday night at Northwest Library at 155 L Street, out of that meeting, we had a very good suggestion that came forth where this commission could actually match funds to help corporations, businesses, put up cameras to help deter and help crime, to reduce the crime rate in our single-member district or in 6E in general. It could even help us in a situation where Commissioner Chapel spoke before, where there are some cars that had windows burst out. It's possible that if there were cameras on the street, we might could have those cameras research police department that would help the police catch who those criminals are. So the idea was if the commission could actually offer grants to help companies in the area, businesses, vendors, because as we may have stated before by Sergeant Ehrlich and in the public safety meeting, the Kifler brothers who on 5th and N, they've been robbed 3 times. They just remodeled the liquor store. It looks very nice. They took down all the plexiglass, but they're now in danger because they've been held up 3 times. The convenience store on the 1100 block of 7th Street, they've been held up. So they have now, since that public safety meeting that we had 2 weeks ago with Lieutenant Derek Gray, they now have put up plexiglass. They didn't want to, but because of their safety, they chose to put the glass up so they wouldn't continue to get robbed at gunpoint. So if we had cameras down the 7th Street corridor or any areas that need that type of visual support, it will help deter crime or help us catch those who are committing crimes in the area of robbery, as the sergeant spoke before. So that was a suggestion that came out by Mr. Moulton, as a matter of fact. And both Douglas Klein, who's with the Justice Department, and Roger Kemp and Sergeant Ehrlich, they all thought it was an excellent idea if funds could be issued, matching funds. But if the funds were given, then those businesses would have to offer video footage to the police department. That's one of the contingencies, that they would have to offer that video footage because sometimes, Sergeant Ehrlich says, sometimes businesses are very slow to get video footage to them if there's a crime in the area. Sometimes they don't want to get involved for whatever reason, or they're very slow in getting that information to the police department. But if that's a contingency on the funds being released, then that could actually help make the neighborhood much safer if the commission was willing to match funds with a corporation, a business, or a vendor in the area who may feel as though they need additional support in that area.
So I have a question, Frank. So does this mean, like, say, for example, K-Flu's, they already have their cameras installed before they opened up.
Mhm.
So would this be additional cameras, or just outside or inside? Like, where are these cameras supposed to be?
Well, the cameras can be on the street poles. We can counsel with the police department to see what the best location for those cameras will be, because they have the stats, they have the numbers, they know what crime is being committed in the area. So we can actually partner with MPD, and actually MPD, in this case, Sergeant Robert Ehrlich, he thought it was an excellent idea. The Justice Department thought it was an excellent idea, and we can actually be leaders in this area because no other commission has ever granted funds to help make an area more secure in their single-member district.
So it would not be meant for inside stores, only for the street?
Well, it could be inside stores if that store needed support, and maybe they couldn't afford expensive cameras, but if they needed support, they could ask for support, and it could be matching funds. I'm not asking the commission to pay for all of the expenses, but it could at least be considered to match those funds to allow the store to be safer, or have cameras on the outside of the location, not just that individual store. It could be a camera for an entire block.
I have a question. Have you guys talked about the cost of cameras?
Well, we're actually talking about that now. We continue to entertain that subject in our next meeting. We have meetings once a month. So we just approached this subject this past week. So I wanted to bring it to the commission's attention because I wanted to be able to move forward on that. But I wanted to see what the commission's feelings were on that matter.
I mean, I know for a fact we've been looking into putting cameras on the outside of the buildings at City Vista, and one camera is, at least for us, is $28,000 with the monitor hookup so that someone is watching it. I am not saying, no, I don't agree with this. I do, but to say matching funds, I don't think we have the kind of money. People can come and ask for a grant for funds to do that, and I have no objection. I really think that's a great idea. I just feel we can't say matching, because if in fact the camera cost is out of our league, I don't wanna have to say we can't give you the money because we don't have it.
Understood.
But-
Well, we understand the commission only has X amount of dollars to donate.
Right.
So if cameras are 28,000, and we can't afford to give out
I mean,
14.
that's just one situation, I don't, you know, if the police department has a lower price and has a way to do it without costing that kind of money, that would be very nice, but I think we need to, you know, say, I mean, my opinion, yes, I would say we should use grant money to help out, but I don't know that we can match.
I understand.
That's,
I think the spirit of the suggestion is, for the neighborhood in general, doesn't have to be limited to a particular vendor. Of course, a vendor can spearhead the request, but I think if cameras are up in the neighborhood to make the neighborhood safe, it's for the neighborhood, not just a particular vendor.
well, and the grant request would have to come from somebody within the
Right, right.
community.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
Not a question, but a comment. I believe that there are other resources that could be tapped potentially to help provide support on this, including the Great Streets program, which now has additional funding from the tax increment financing for the neighborhood. So I'll offer to explore that possibility and report to the committee at your next meeting.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just say that, that would be a new and innovative way of using our grant money, but we should check with the auditor's office to see if this is something that we can legally do.
Okay. Questions from the audience? Martin?
Yeah, what we brought up in our public safety meeting, in addition to what Commissioner Sims said, was that, you know, with the latest technology, I mean, aside from a camera on City Vista, there are effective, efficient online cameras for just a few $100s. Officer Sims noted that he knows that MPD has some recommended cameras that are effective. If he was going to come up with a list, which would be a part of his grant process, which, you know, any merchant, retail establishment could select from. And these select cameras weren't the $28,000 version. They were like the $300 to $400 variety. And these would be the ones that would get approval from the commission. I mean, we realize that ANC 60 doesn't have a lot of, you know, money to give to everyone, but, you know, $200 to $300 in some sort of matching agreement doesn't seem like a lot of money.
Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you, Frank, for bringing that up. Any other new business? Any old business? Okay, we can approve expenses.
I move that ANC 6E reimburse Michelle Nigro in the amount of $370.79 for the copying of the October newsletter. Should I do them all together? Okay. I also move that ANC 6E repay Commissioner Nigro, or reimburse Commissioner Nigro in the amount of $10.43 for printing extra copies of the newsletter, the October newsletter. I also move that ANC 6E pay our minute taker, Karen Leverage, the amount of $125 for the taking and preparation of our October meeting minutes. That's for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Agreed. Okay, great, motion passes. All right, so we have the approval of the September minutes. We all have been sent those. Any other, Alex made some comments. Any additional comments?
Oh, one more thing. Our neighborhood is having an Oktoberfest.
Okay, so let's hold that. We're talking about the minutes here. So hold that thought, Alfreda. So any other comments about the September minutes? Okay. I motion that ANC 6E approve the September minutes with, if anyone has any last minute additions, for September 2013. Looking for a second?
Second.
Okay, Alex seconds. All in favor? Aye. Great, motion passes. Okay, so now is announcement time. Any commissioners, Alfred, you have a announcement?
Yeah. Holy Redeemer's having an Oktoberfest. This Saturday is a block party on Pierce Street, and everybody's invited.
What are the hours?
From, I think it's from 10 to 6. Okay, that's it.
Any other announcements from the commissioners? Alex?
Two upcoming events, tomorrow at 6 o'clock at Dasha Beer Garden, 1600 7th Street Northwest, the new Liz Taylor mural, which some people may have seen was underway for about a month, will be dedicated. Councilmember Jim Graham, who knew Liz Taylor because she was a big supporter of Lippman Walker Clinic when he was the executive director, will be there. And we'll have some other dignitaries, and we'll toast to Babe Liz. So that'll probably be taking place about 6:45, the toast. And, I'm sorry, tomorrow, the 3rd of October, at 6 o'clock. And then on the 26th, Saturday the 26th of October, Shaw Main Streets will have its annual Halloween bar crawl, taking place from 1 to 6 o'clock. So feel free to go to the website at shawmainstreets.org for more information.
The next public safety meeting will take place on October the 29th. Now that Walter T. Daniel Library hours have extended, we can be here on October the 29th at 6:30.
Any announcements from the community? Oh, I'm sorry, Marge.
Two comments, or two announcements. One, October 26th, Mount Vernon, you can all hear me, right? The annual pet parade will be held at the 5th and I Triangle Park, so I think it's from 1 to 3 o'clock for those of you who care to enter your pets in the parade. There's numerous prizes for all winners. And the second thing is, there is going out right now some comments, and I don't know if you live in a condo or a residential or a rental, but in condo buildings, those of us who have BID, BID, or SID organizations that we pay taxes to, the city is trying to assess each condo building the tax that we are charged for running a BID or a SID. In Mount Vernon Square, we have a $120 tax tacked on to every owner in our condo that is paid for cleaning up, clean team, different things that go on within the community. I'm just letting people know, because we are going to be fighting having condo buildings collect a tax, because each apartment in a condo is owned by an individual, and the homeowners associations do not feel that they should be tax collectors for the city. So I'm just throwing it out there that this is going to be coming up very shortly, and I just want to make people aware that it's happening.
Okay, great, thanks, Marge.
Just wanted to announce for folks that have been tracking this particular issue, the ABC board this afternoon voted to reject unanimously 5-0 the application for a U Street liquor license moratorium. This commission and all the other affected commissions, including Logan Circle and DuPont Circle and the 1B commission, all voted to oppose this. So we're very grateful for the ABC board to have agreed with the community that this was an overreach and not something that was beneficial to the community.
Any announcements from the audience? We have Naomi Mitchell here from Tommy Wells' office. Would you like to come up and?
Wondering what I have to announce.
Huh?
For those of you who know, our Chief of Staff, Charles Allen, he is leaving us this Friday, and Linda O'Brien, who's the Deputy Chief of Staff, will be acting until January 2015, I guess, as Chief of Staff. There'll be a few changes in the office, but we're still accessible. There is a Walmart job information session tomorrow at Rival Way from 10 to 11:30, and then 12 to 1:30, a couple of sessions that Walmart just wants to explain all the types of jobs, what's involved with them, and to really help people who are gonna be working with people to enter into the database with better knowledge of what's there. And then in the next Tuesday, I think, there's a meeting for the stakeholders who are gonna be working with folks, so that hopefully there's a long relationship. It is surprising that seasonal part-time jobs are only a part of job opportunities there, so this should be useful to folks to understand that those jobs are for H Street, right above Chinatown, in your area, and the Georgia Avenue store, which are opening soon, so that the 8th Street will be open before the holidays. So they're in a run to get people hired and get them trained and get them in there. So if any of you know people who want to look, they should go into the Walmart webpage, and there's a click for applications for various stores, and go in. There are a number of nonprofits in the area who will help people if you are interested in sending some people to interface. Perry School, there is one, and I think the Judah Project down here is another. And I think some other folks are working to get that done. I know some people are working on the Old Street Market and the Marriott, and so the whole job business is very important, and so I think we're gonna help put a big job fair on at the Arena Stage next month, which will bring in a lot of people who we know have jobs for real coming up, and we will be reaching out to Marriott and Old Street. We'll also be getting folks from other parts of the ward, hotels, hospitals, a variety of people who have various levels of, and interesting enough in this whole subject area, PEPCO has an excellent job readiness program that we're gonna tap into to bring them into, to work with people who are working with people to sharpen up what business expects to see on resumes, what they expect in terms of what would enhance people, and also for those entry-level jobs to have a contact, PEPCO to call in the community and say, we're gonna post this in a few days, so if you got people, give you a heads up on it. So we're trying to develop a lot of those kinds of relationships, and so we probably will be working, as we have been already in the Northwest 1 area. We're going to try to work with some folks in this community to get them together to collaborate on how they might support each other and share information and bring resources to the collective group so that they're able to tap into more things. So that's one of the roles that I play in that office. And so I've spoken to some people already in the last few weeks to start moving that in this community more. So if any of you are interested in working on those issues on behalf of the people in the community, touch base with our office, and we'll plug you in with other people who are doing things in this community. Is there anything else I need to announce that you know of, Alex?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, good. All right.
Or are you having office hours again?
Oh, not sure where, but we did go to the dog park last week at Bundy Field. In the evening, we won't be doing that often because evenings just messes everybody's schedule. We can commit to 8 in the morning to 9:30 every month because nothing happens with the council, rarely other appointments, but when we try to do 5 to 6:30, half the staff has got conflicts, not to mention the council members. But we did have an interesting time, and we met a lot of people who are new to the area at the dog park. And Martin was out there to help us navigate amongst the dogs. And Kip loaned us a table and chairs. We had our commissioner there in his ANC shirt, and so he was easily identified. At any rate, I think that is your area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin? And so it was a lot of interesting conversation. People had real concerns with the sidewalk on 6th Street, whole lengths of it broken up, needs work. They had interest in having another dog park over there near Marge's area, too far over here, but they come over here, they like something further over there. So lots of ideas, that we heard, and so we were grateful. any of you have ideas about places we might go the last Thursday of the month, somewhere in the area for 8 to 9:30 for the council member staff, just drop in, talk to him, us, anybody, with finding a way in Shaw. We don't know what the best place is that serves people the most. So we've been trying a lot of different places, and Michelle has been very helpful to us, and some others suggesting places we might go. But we haven't found the niche yet that serves this community kind of centrally, so we can put some roots down in one place where we're gonna be every month, and people will know that. But we're still trying to figure that out. And we will be continuing, no matter what else is going on with our council member, we will be continuing to have office hours. So he will hold to that, which he's done for the last 7 years. We're at 3 places in the ward. You don't have to just come to one here. We're at the Channel Inn in Southwest tomorrow, the first, and we're at on 8th Street, the Batter Bowl on the 3rd, and we're over here somewhere on the 4th. So any of those, call the office if you have a burning desire to talk to the councilman personally, right soon, to find out where he's gonna be. And you can come there and you call our office and ask where you're gonna be, and we'll tell you. So, anybody got any questions of me?
You know, you haven't been to the bus place in a while. That
Well,
was
you know, we
pretty
get that
successful.
crowd over there, and we get a lot of people catching the bus going other places. I mean, we don't really get a residential group. We did the first time we went there, but the second, third time, we only got 3 or 4 people. And our best turnout is there at night, and what is that?
Aussies.
Yeah, Aussies. But again, it's not. So we're still finding a way. You know, Shaw doesn't have a central area. I mean, it has a bunch of neighborhoods, and so trying to find what's the median.
Well,
Kind
when
of way.
the Giant opens, there's supposed to be a
Yeah.
cafe in the tower, so maybe
Well,
that'll be the.
That might,
the
you know,
place.
because we're gonna have to move from where we are in Southwest after years of being in Channel Inn, because it's soon going to be closed. And an idea we have is going into the Starbucks Safeway coffee shop area where everybody comes through. And so Oak Street Market might be just that place in this area once it opens. What's its projected open date?